What's up guys, my name's Tom, welcome back to another video, and here back to my F1 2019 Career Mode episode 31, and today we are at home. It's the Austrian Grand Prix home race for Red Bull. We can say it's not the other quarters, but it's where Red Bull is comes from, and yeah, it's the Austrian Grand Prix. We have one upgrade ready, a minor upgrade for the fuel consumption, and for the next episode hopefully we're going to have a major one ready for the British Grand Prix. But today we're going to focus in the Red Bull ring. We have to, maybe, who knows, the ideal would be a 1-2 at Red Bull home race. In the performance chart we are not anymore the fastest car, it's McLaren that now is the fastest car, so crazy to see, followed by Alfa Romeo and Ferrari and Mercedes that had a big drop in the performance chart, but you know that the performance chart doesn't tell the whole story. And for this episode we have a special livery because it's a Red Bull race that said to do something special, something different, and we're going to be dressed in orange as well to help Max Verstappen, because you know that the Red Bull ring it has a lot of Dutch fans, so I thought it would be nice to, you know, make an orange car for this weekend. And here we are on practice doing our things, not really need to show, so it was just to show the skin. It's available for download, so you can try by yourselves, the link is in the description. But now let's go to the qualifying and see if we can get a good result for the Sunday race.
Thank you for joining us once again for today's qualifying session. Sit back, relax and enjoy what we hope will be a fantastic contest for pole position. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on in the corners and max out down the straights?
Top speed is a key factor for this circuit. Even if you can achieve the same lap time as someone running less wing than you, chances are you'll find overtaking difficult if you have too much drag.
And here we are on qualifying Q1, being a little bit disturbed by the Haas of Grosjean that is much slower than us, but pace has been really good in this weekend. We have a fresh power unit after the French Grand Prix, which was really worn out and really struggle for pace, and we are in the slipstream, which can help and across the line, and it is a 1.4.8, and that's enough to get us through into Q2 in P9, Verstappen in P3, so nothing special, just a formality Q1, and we're going to press onwards into Q2. And today I decided to not try to qualify on the mediums, because it's going to be a one-stop anyway. We're going to have some rain as we head into the final stages of the race, so maybe that can play a bit in the strategy, but I think it's going to be a two-stop anyway. Maybe we're going to fit the intermediates in the closing stages, so I'm going to qualify on the soft tires, not taking any risks, and for the final corner across the line, and it's going to be enough to put us into the top 10 shootout with a pretty decent time in P6. I forgot to tell you that Lucas Weber and Devon Butler were knocked out of Q1, and that's surprising to see, especially from Weber, that is in the championship fight, not in the lead, because in the lead is Verstappen. So we're going to press onwards into the top 10 shootout through the first corner, I should say, having a little bit of oversteer and locking up into the right-hander, which is easy because it's a downhill corner. Now through the final two corners, there's some time left on the table in this lap, opposing almost the four wheels of the track, and through the final corner we're going to open the DRS, where it's going to put us just before, behind Norris. So but like I said, it was definitely some time left on the table. Now Verstappen in provisional pole position, so he's really looking good on the pace. Now in the first sector we already gained 110, so just to see how much we gain going purple on the first sector, which is a sector that we've been very strong over the course of this weekend. Now open the DRS, and now we're going to head to the right-hander where we locked up and lost a lot of time. So maybe we can set pole position. It's going to be really hard, but thankfully this is a short circuit. So when you lose time, you lose a lot of time. The gaps are really short in this circuit. But through the final corner, open the DRS, 3/10 up. Can this be enough to provisional pole position? Yes, it is. We're 1.4.4, and now we have to wait for Verstappen. And Verstappen now is behind Hamilton and Bottas, but we skipped forward. I decided to do another lap, and now it's Bottas on pole position, and we are down into P2. But I decided to go in another lap. Through the final corner, we spun. And there's yellow flags, but and that's controversial, but it's not that really, because the AI is going to start. It keeps rolling at a normal speed, so that's not really controversy. But at the end of the day, it's Max Verstappen in pole position, followed by Bottas, and then myself, and we are separated by less than a 10, so things are going really close on Sunday. Hopefully it's going to be a Red Bull 1-2 with me winning the race, we'll see, but hopefully, who knows, we can have a good fight with Verstappen, and we can have a healthy rating, but we'll see, because now it's time for the Austrian Grand Prix, the home race for Red Bull. Let's go.
What a beautiful backdrop to a motor race. We're here in the Styrian Mountains, of course, and they've watched over some cracking races throughout the history of this Grand Prix. Controversy, of course, think back to 2002, but also great joy. Do you remember Niki Lauda's historic home victory in 1984? It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Me in the commentary box today. Now, can I talk to you about Sebastian Vettel? As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Thomas, Hamilton, Charles Leclerc and Raikkonen, Norris, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg and Pierre Gasly, Giovinazzi, Russell, Daniel Kvyat and Kubica. Vettel, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Magnussen, Romain Grosjean and Devon Butler. Weber and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So here we are on the track, guys, ready to the start of the Austrian Grand Prix after a pretty decent qualifying, not a qualifying specially, but we'll see. Strategy-wise, it's going to be a soft, medium strategy, and in the closing stages, like I said, in qualifying, we're going to have some rain. So things are going to be maybe shaky in this race. Maybe we get heading to a banger, who knows. Austria always provides good racing, and it is this man starting in pole position, Verstappen, in the Red Bull's home Grand Prix, with the Dutch crowd absolutely screaming for him. And in terms of strategy, everyone is starting on the softs. So very interesting call. Generally we see some guys on the medium, on the hards and old tires, but we'll see what he can do in these next 28 laps. I believe 5 red lights for the Austrian Grand Prix. It's 36 and lights out, and away we go. I don't know why the hell I said 28, but it was a very good phase of the start, but then the second one, it's not wasn't the best, and Hamilton, he tried something on the inside, but we managed to defend around the outside, and we lost a little bit at the back end, and now Bottas and Verstappen are pulling away, and Bottas is in the slipstream of Verstappen, as you can see, and he's going to try something. He's going to try the outside line. This is for the lead of the race. This is amazing, and he's going to try something, but the move isn't there, because Verstappen gets a good braking, and now we're going to try to out-track Bottas. He gets a little bit caught on the curb, and we're going to have some slipstream, which makes overtake mode that I think that you can get out of this Red Bull power, and we're going to try something around the outside. We locked up a little bit, and but still we're going to make the move stick, and there he is, and the replay camera, we're going to get ahead of Bottas. Now we're going to have the inside line. Maybe we can squeeze a little bit. The corner is ours, and there you go. We are up into P2 in this Grand Prix, so it's been a very good lap, but look the gap that Verstappen already formed. So just to see how powerful it is in this weekend, and in the last weekend it was really powerful. So now Verstappen waking up in this maybe second, third of the season, I should say, and we're starting lap 2, and we respond over Verstappen by setting the fastest lap. So things are looking really good. We are already in the DRS, but though missed the braking point and the turning point, and that result is going wide, but we have the DRS, so maybe we can have a chance of Verstappen in the next 2 laps, and look how much we are gaining on the Dutch. So OP slipstream on F1 2019 coming to play here, and let's see if we can get a good exit. Maybe I can pull something off, but I don't want to be very aggressive because he's my teammate. But look at the powerful slipstream of this game, and I'm going to switch very aggressively to the inside. This is for the lead of the race. He's battling with Verstappen, finally battling with my teammate, and we're going to take the lead of this Austrian Grand Prix in great fashion. Yes, I squeezed a little bit aggressively, but I locked up, and yeah, we're going to press on, but that was a brilliant battle with my teammate, and showing the replay camera, and yeah, locked up, but thankfully no contact. That managed to just close the door, and that's what mattered behind the lead. But still in the same lap, Verstappen is already gaining, and I'm harvesting some battery, because he's going to have a chance on the DRS, because we're not going to have enough time to break the DRS window. But unfortunately we hit that curb, and we sent it off to the track. We mounted a curb, and we were on 2 wheels, momentarily, and we are side by side as we go into turn 1. He's going defensive, he's going slow, he brake checks a little bit, and they made contact, so Sparks fly with Verstappen literally, because I don't know if you saw some Sparks, and now we're vulnerable to Valtteri Bottas, but Bottas is gaining on Verstappen, and then gaining on Verstappen as well, and this is going to be 3 wide as we go into turn 1. We are in the outside line, Verstappen pushes a little bit off to the track, and we have to take an evasive action. We are in the lead, and Verstappen is going to get a better exit, and now this is between me and Verstappen because Bottas is behind, and we're going to have a good exit, a great momentum with a straight line speed, but Verstappen is going to make a huge dive bomb as you can see, and we are side by side, and can we make the move, can we defend a little bit, we're going to try to squeeze a little bit, we made contact once again with Verstappen. This is amazing between the two Red Bull rides, not healthy at all, but we're side by side, and now we take the lead once again of this Austrian Grand Prix. What a wild GP that has been with Verstappen. Finally I have some wild battle with my teammate, but we're going to see all the replay, and yeah, that was too aggressive for me. I was trying to squeeze Verstappen, and that was a little bit unfair for me, but we're going to press on. I had to take an evasive action going off to the track because it was a free wide. There was no way that we could make the corner free alongside, and now watching Verstappen's POV, as you can see, Bottas actually was gaining on me, but Verstappen went for the move. Kudos to him, which was a great dive bomb, but unfortunately here I can lift my hand and say that that was my fault. I tried to squeeze Verstappen, I was a little bit distracted, and I think that Verstappen doesn't have much damage, and here it was just a little bit too much squeeze, and yeah, I can take the fault that that was my... It was my fault, and now I'm playing with a replay camera. I forgot to cut this in the editing, so apologies for that, but Verstappen is losing some time to me, but I can tell you that he doesn't have front wing damage apparently. But now Bottas goes on the inside through the penultimate corner, now going through the last corner. He's going to give him a little bit of a squeeze as he takes the inside line, and he's going to get P2 in this race, and now Leclerc is gaining on Verstappen. He already overtook Hamilton, so Leclerc looking with a pretty decent pace in this GP, but he managed to defend around the outside, and Leclerc loses a lot of momentum, and now maybe he can be vulnerable to Hamilton. Look at the train that is here. Jesus, that's a lot of cars in a short amount of racetrack, I can say. And Norris is going to on the outside of Raikkonen, and Hamilton as well. What a move from Lando Norris around the outside. That man got some milk for the breakfast, it seems, and he got the move. It got ahead not just of Raikkonen but of Hamilton, and now Leclerc is going to try to get a second bite of the cherry around the outside of Verstappen, and now it's going to be a drag race. The Ferrari engine, I think, is more decent than the Honda engine, and Norris is gaining on these two guys, and there he goes. He's now trying to pull around the outside like he did on Raikkonen and Hamilton, and look at this image, a strawberry between two oranges, and who's going to win? Verstappen has the inside line, so he has nothing to lose. Norris is going to get caught on the curb, and Leclerc is the biggest winner of this, and Norris is trying something on Verstappen, but he doesn't have enough slipstream, and he has to back off. So Verstappen, really interesting. It was looking really good in the first stint, the first laps I should say, and now the pace has been not really good, but Verstappen has a word to say over Leclerc, and this is a copycat of the last year's Grand Prix, but this time there's no contact, and this is not for the lead, but that was really you know, nice to see, as now we have a drag race between these two, and Verstappen is going to try around the outside of Leclerc, but Leclerc is going to have the inside line, and he managed to squeeze Verstappen, and he's still ahead of the Dutchman. So things are not really good for our teammate, but he's going to do again, this time, once again, around the outside. Can he make the move this time? Once again, a copycat of last year's, and now can they make contact? No, they can't, but Verstappen gets a very decent exit, and this time gets ahead of Leclerc. Leclerc is going to have the DRS, massive slipstream, and he's going to get ahead once again of Verstappen, and this is being a good battle. They already battled in the Chinese Grand Prix, and that was a mega battle, but what about us? We're trying to put some consistent times, and we've been pulling away a lot from Bottas, but it was always inside the DRS window, but Bottas now is vulnerable, and this is going to actually help us to pull away from the finish. Charles Leclerc is going to try something around the outside of Valtteri Bottas. You can see Verstappen and Norris in the background. Maybe Verstappen can take some pieces. No, because Leclerc got the move done, and Bottas had absolutely no chance. Leclerc is looking lightning fast at this stage of the Grand Prix, and look how close he is. He's going to have DRS 2/10 away from me, so maybe he can have some DRS, but we had a little bit of understeer through the first corner. We've been caught on the curb, and now Leclerc is going to take a chance, and there he is. He's going to pull around the outside. Maybe he's making a lot of outside moves, and we locked up a little bit, but we're going to make to take this position and the lead of the GP. But now maybe we're going to have some work with Leclerc. But look at the tire wear, 63%, and I said that in this lap I'm going to pit like 2 or 1 lap earlier, because I can't take any more in these tires. I wasn't treating them well, especially when I was battling with Max, that whole time. That wasn't very healthy to the tires, and look how close Leclerc is. Maybe he would have passed me in the next lap, so I'm not going to lose any time, and I'm going to pit in this lap, and hopefully I can pull away of these guys and hopefully break the DRS window and I can have a calm race. But Leclerc is going to try on the inside, and I want to go to the pit wall, so I'm forced to slow down to let Leclerc go. And here we go to the pits, and Gasly is out of the race, unfortunately, and we have yellow flags, and it is a virtual safety car. And once again, like in the Spanish Grand Prix early this season, it's one of the best time virtual safety cars that I had in my F1 career, because we're going to pit under the VSC and we're going to gain a heap amount of time. I'm the only one that is pitting at the moment, and one of the McLarens, I believe, is of Carlos. No, it's of Antonio Giovinazzi. Is going to change his front wing, so he's not going to lose that much time. But what a strategic masterstroke from Red Bull. A lot of luck in the mixture, but this is going to really help us out to gain a lot of time over Bottas and Leclerc and Verstappen. So who knows, probably a race is already decided when it comes to the first place, but we'll see what we can do, because we are chasing down Sebastian Vettel, but now we're going through the pit straight, and as you can see, Leclerc and Bottas, all that pack is still on the pit lane, so we gain a heap amount of time, like I said. And let's see the strategy. So Bottas is fitting the medium tires, so it's the same strategy like me, but let's see what about of the midfield that is fitting the medium tires. One of the Williams, I believe, is of Russell, is fitting the hard tires, so that was a really interesting strategy call. And Leclerc, I couldn't see what tires he was fitting, and then Verstappen fits the medium, so it's all around the soft medium strategy. It would be a one-stop for everyone, that, with the exception of that Williams, it would be a one-stop anyway, but that was really interesting to see that he was fitting the white stripe tire. But probably we're going to change in the closing stages of the race to the intermediate tires, because we're going to have some rain in the end. But now Verstappen just dropped on some positions, I believe, and this is Leclerc slicing his way through the field as he goes around the outside of Kimi Raikkonen. Absolutely no chance. He actually, Raikkonen overtook Leclerc, so maybe he took an undercut and it worked. But this is Verstappen, and I believe the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton, and Verstappen is going to try to make a move around the outside of the Mercedes. Verstappen lost a lot of time during the pit stops, so he has a lot of things, a lot of ground to make. From pole position to be in the center of the midfield is not what you want, but yeah, that's how things go. It was just a race incident. I still feel bad, but these things happen. And Hamilton is going to make a dive bomb on up of the they made contact, as you can see, so much contact in this Grand Prix, and I believe that Verstappen is still there, as you can see. Yes, it is on the outside line. He's going to try to get some slipstream, but look at the powerful slipstream over the Williams of George Russell, I believe, and Hamilton dives down on his side, and Daniel Ricciardo out of nowhere sails past around the outside of Max Verstappen. What a move from the Racing Point. He's still ahead of Hamilton, I believe. Yes, it is, and now he's going to pull away, maybe around the outside of Robert Kubica. This is brilliant stuff from the Andy Badger, and he gets the traction done, and now it's a drag race between the Williams and the Mercedes, and Verstappen is the biggest loser because he's so far from the back, and Kubica is going to come back to Daniel Ricciardo on the Racing Point. He's trying something on the outside, but I can tell you, I don't know if you can see, but Kubica has some wing damage on the right hand plate, but but Kubica was doing bits to Daniel Ricciardo, and that was so close. Team radio first.
Some information on Leclerc. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
So we don't have to worry about Leclerc anymore because he has some problems. And that was really close with Sebastian Vettel. As I was going to say, Kubica was doing bits in that Williams because he had some wing damage, and now the pace has been good. But team radio,
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain.
As I was going to say, the pace on the mediums has been really good, setting some consistent times, some faster slaps, and we've been pulling away of Bottas. Now Raikkonen is on the podium because he overtook Leclerc, that is with some issues, and by lap 24 the rain is falling, so I think it came much earlier than I was expecting, and by lap 27 I'm starting to feel some losses of grip, and the first to set the medium tires is the McLaren of Antonio Giovinazzi, and this can pay dividends. There's another car that is fitting, is the Haas of Roman Grosjean, so these guys can be way up the field, especially the Haas that is not really good in this season. He's one of the slowest cars, and as you can see, still on lap 27, I'm starting to struggle a lot, but despite that, I was actually maintaining the gap to Bottas, and the AI on these conditions are absolutely gods, so I was really surprised to see, and I was feeling comfortable in these conditions, which is not a very common thing to say, but the DRS is disabled, and on lap 27 we're going to pit and dress a brand new set of intermediate tires, and hopefully we can manage the gap over Bottas, and we can cruise till the end. But now you're going to see that it's going to be absolutely carnage through the pit lane, because everyone is going to pit for the intermediate tires, and yeah, a 1.9 stop, a good stop from our team, and the stops have been absolutely flawless. In the last episode we had a 1.7 second pit stop, which I believe that's a world record. If it was in real life, but there you go, Bottas, and now Hamilton is going to be in a double stack. He loses a little bit of time, as you can see, but he hits the intermediate tires, and this is going to be bad because of the double stack. Now let's see Verstappen. He gets a little bit held up, like I said, because of the double stack, but I believe he's not going to lose any positions. And Devon Butler as well, getting a little bit held up, but I think it's preferable to lose a little bit of time on the pit lane than doing another lap on the soft tires, because you can be. And oh, Lucas Weber getting held up by the Williams cars because it was blocked by one of them. I think it's from Robert Kubica, and he couldn't get out of the pits, so that was really bad from Weber. He's not having a good race, because considering his championship position, he can be in the championship fight. He's not being a very good race for our former F2 teammate and former teammate at Toro Rosso. Remember, time flies, and by lap 30 we've been very comfortable. I'm cruising to the end, and by lap 30 we're lapping for the first time in this career mode someone. Is the Renault of Lance Stroll, and this is so far from the road. I believe he had some wing damage or something like that, because he's so far from P17, I believe. Yes, it is P18 from P17, so that was a bit weird to see, but yeah, it was just cruise to the end, and it was an easy win. Unfortunately, I had some controversy with Verstappen, and I can tell you that is my fault. I think it doesn't make sense that the game didn't penalize me, but that's how the mechanics of the game works. So I think Verstappen deserved the race win today, or at least P2, but as Kvyat says, it's racing. But in a nutshell, I'm really happy with this win, and we are back into the championship lead.
You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
Red Bull pulling out all the stops today. What a great win. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So it's been a very positive race weekend, and yeah, they go race win and fastest lap. We got the maximum points that we could get, so I'm really happy with that. In the championship lead, we are back, and we are 20 points ahead of Max, and Bottas is starting closer and closer to get closer to me and Verstappen. So who knows, we can have a three-way fight once we get to Abu Dhabi. We'll see, because we're not even in the halfway of the championship, and in the Constructor Championship we are in the lead. But that has been the episode, guys, so thank you so much for watching. Make sure to smash like and subscribe, and if you would see plenty more Formula 1 content. And now we're going to spend the resource points. We have a bunch of them to spend, and we're going to buy a gearbox update, because our gearbox is starting to get a little bit worn out. I decided to bring this upgrade, and for the next episode, the British Grand Prix, we're going to have a major engine upgrade, and this should help us out in the straights. But everything is looking good, and we've been very consistent, with the exception on the last race of France. But I'm really happy. But for me, it's everything. My name's Tom, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time. But for now, it's goodbye.